Hello. Welcome to the Mental Training Challenge. Over the next 7 days, I'll be your mentor on this journey of inner transformation. Get ready to dive into a fascinating world that will change the way you think, act, and relate to the world, and most importantly, to yourself. Mental training is a powerful path of self-development. It's like an invisible gym where we train the mind to achieve clarity, balance, emotional strength, and focus. The goal? To unlock your potential, expand your awareness, and help you overcome inner barriers that may be limiting your growth and happiness. Throughout this week, you'll learn techniques and practices based on neuroscience, positive psychology, and human development. Together, we'll work on building a resilient mindset, strengthening your focus, managing stress, and creating meaningful goals. But before anything else, we need to understand how the mind works and why that's essential for changing patterns and creating a life more aligned with your true self. Let's start by distinguishing two fundamental concepts, brain and mind. The brain is the physical, visible organ composed of billions of neurons and connections. It is responsible for the biological and cognitive functions that sustain our life. The mind, on the other hand, is more subtle and immensely powerful. It represents the set of thoughts, feelings, memories, and perceptions that form our subjective experience of the world. We can divide the brain into 3 main structures, each with a specific role. Reptilian brain, the most primitive part, responsible for survival. It controls automatic functions like hunger, thirst, sleep, and threat response. It also plays a key role in the formation of habits, both positive and harmful. Limbic system, also known as the emotional brain, this is the center of our emotions, emotional memories, and emotional bonds. It deeply influences our reactions and behaviors, often unconsciously. Neocortex, the most recent structure in evolutionary terms. This is our thinking brain, responsible for logical reasoning, language, conscious decision-making, creativity, and planning. It is what makes us human at our most complex level. When we talk about the mind, we need to understand that it also divides into 2 main parts. Conscious mind represents only about 5% of our total mind. It's connected to the neocortex and is where rational thoughts, intentional decisions, and analysis occur. It's with this part of the mind that you're listening to me right now. Unconscious or subconscious mind makes up about 95% of our mental activity. Here live our habits, deep emotions, limiting beliefs, behavior patterns, fears, and memories, even those formed while we were still in the womb. This is the part of the mind that truly drives most of our lives. The unconscious mind is closely connected to the limbic system and the reptilian brain, the systems that operate on autopilot without us realizing. They explain why, sometimes, even when we know what we want to do, we end up doing the opposite. Now that you understand how the brain and mind operate, we're ready to take another step in this journey of transformation. By understanding these inner structures, we gain powerful tools to change our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors intentionally. Over the next few days, you'll be introduced to a powerful technique for mental reprogramming, along with practical activities to help reinforce this new path. But before we jump into tasks, it's essential to learn 3 fundamental rules about how the mind works. These will serve as a foundation for everything we'll build from now on. Rule number 1, real versus imagined. The first thing you need to know is, the mind doesn't clearly distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. For the mind, anything visualized with emotional intensity becomes powerful, as if it were actually happening. Think about when you watch a movie and feel scared, joyful, or emotional. Even though everything is fictional, your body reacts as if it were real. The mind believes what you feed it with attention and emotion. And here's the big secret. If the mind believes in what's imagined, then we can use this ability in our favor. Techniques like creative visualization and positive mental rehearsal work because they help reprogram your thoughts and emotions. By repeatedly imagining positive scenarios, achieved goals, or desired behaviors, you activate the same brain areas that would be activated if it were really happening. With practice and intention, the mind begins to adjust your behavior and emotions to this new imagined reality until it becomes your new truth. Rule number 2, the mind works by replacement. When we think about quitting a bad habit, our natural tendency is to try to cut it out completely. But the mind doesn't handle emptiness well. It needs something to fill the gap. That's why the mind doesn't eliminate a habit, it replaces it. It's as if the mind says, okay, I can give this up, but what will I get in return? And this is where the strategy of positive substitution comes in. For example, if you want to stop overeating sweets, it's not enough to simply forbid yourself. You need to offer your mind something equally pleasurable, like a tasty fruit, a relaxing tea, or even a new enjoyable activity. The substitution must be gradual and intentional. Step by step, the old habit loses power, while the new one grows stronger and becomes the dominant pattern. Rule number 3, you have to act as if you've already won. This is one of the most powerful techniques in mental training. Act as if you've already made it. It comes from behavioral psychology and shows that our actions can shape our thoughts, just as our thoughts shape our actions. Here's how it works. Imagine you are already the person you want to become. Ask yourself, how would this version of me behave? What would their daily actions be? How would they deal with challenges or decisions? How would they feel waking up in the morning? Then, start acting that way now. By behaving as if you've already achieved what you want, you send clear signals to your mind and body. This creates alignment between your internal desires and external actions, and this coherence accelerates transformation. But a word of caution, acting as if is not pretending. It's intentional practice. You're telling your mind, this is how I choose to live from now on. With consistency and repetition, this new behavior becomes part of who you are. By understanding and applying these 3 rules, you begin shaping your reality from the inside out. Your mind stops being a battlefield and becomes your most powerful ally. Rule number 4, energy conservation. The human mind naturally seeks the path of least resistance. This is part of an evolutionary mechanism focused on survival. It avoids discomfort, prolonged effort, and anything that seems threatening, difficult, or exhausting. While this is useful in dangerous situations, it becomes an obstacle when we're trying to change habits. After all, learning something new, overcoming a dependency, or adopting a healthier lifestyle requires the opposite: effort, dedication, and temporary discomfort. So when you try to change, it's common to feel resistance, laziness, or procrastination. This is not a lack of willpower, it's your brain trying to save energy. But here's the key point. To transform your life, you must teach your mind that it's worth spending energy. And how do we do that? By sending clear instructions to the unconscious and practicing new behaviors until they become automatic. What starts out requiring effort eventually becomes a natural mental and behavioral habit, and then your mind begins to work in favor of your evolution. It's like installing a new program that runs on autopilot, but this time with a pilot taking you in the right direction. Overcoming autopilot. By understanding and accepting this rule of the mind, you become more capable of overcoming inertia, embracing temporary discomfort, and accessing true growth. Transformation happens when you decide that, even when tempted to give up or take the easy way out, you'll keep going one step at a time. And remember, I'll be here with you every day, offering guidance, support, and tools to make this journey light, possible, and deeply transformative. Now, here are your tasks for today. Now that you understand the basics of how the mind works, let's put this knowledge into practice. This activity will help you strengthen your motivation and align your thoughts with your goals. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine. If anything were possible, what would you like to achieve in terms of your health and well-being after quitting smoking? Now, grab a piece of paper or your journal and write down all of these goals in detail. The more vivid and concrete your mental image, the greater the emotional and motivational impact. Then answer and write down these 4 essential questions. What do you gain by quitting smoking? What do you lose if you don't quit? How will you feel when you stop smoking? How will you feel if you can't stop? These questions will help you deeply understand your reasons. And this why will be your anchor in moments of doubt or difficulty. Now reflect. Would you rather focus on your gains or on your losses? This choice changes everything, because what you focus on grows. Over the next 6 days, we'll dive even deeper into topics like understanding habits, elements of change, limiting beliefs, managing stress and anxiety, the gratitude box, and finally, mental reprogramming. You are beginning a journey that can truly change your life. And most importantly, you are not alone. May your day be full of awareness, presence, and purpose. See you tomorrow.